Hello! So it has come to the end of my first week of implementing which mentoring practice I chose to implement into the field. Of the 3 practices, there were mentoring, executive coaching, and self-mentoring. And for the field experience application of either of these practices, I chose to utilize self-mentoring. 2 reasons for that. The first being that I felt with the current situation that I am in, self-mentoring would be the most effective mode applied, as well as I'm very interested into learning more about self-mentoring, and I feel at this time, instead of continuing reading research regarding this practice, it's time to try it out. And I'm excited because I believe this practice will bring me to places I didn't expect, and I'm very much looking forward to that. To reiterate, self-mentoring is a mentoring practice that is self-led. It is different. It is separate from regular mentoring and executive coaching, as those 2 practices involve a relational practice. The mentoring, there's a mentor, a mentee, and executive coaching, you have your coach and your coachee. And self-mentoring, it is your one self, and you are moving through 4 pillars of becoming self-aware, then leading through self-discovery, and after those 2 phases have died out, you enter into self-reflection phase, and then past self-reflection, you move into self-monitoring. Being that I'm in my 2nd year of teaching and changed classrooms again in the 2nd year, I certainly found myself in a very unfamiliar environment, uncharted territory that I have never quite experienced before. I teach in special education, and I've worked with the special needs population for about 3.5 years now, and the dynamic in which I found myself over the last 8 months at this point is the classroom in which I am teaching in this year is a kindergarten through 2nd grade specially designed academics classroom. We have 7 students. The teacher that I work with teaching, this is her first year as well, teaching a class with this type of dynamic. So back in July, as we teach at a year-round school, we kind of had to hit the ground running when we had formalized a plan as to how we wanted things to go and things we would streamline and implement through each quarter and the weeks of each quarter kind of just went up in smoke almost immediately because of just the dynamic of our classroom. There's, ranging disabilities, ranging types of behaviors, and in a small-knit classroom where we're trying to implement structure, a schedule, and manners. You need to learn how to sit in your seat. This is what it is to sit at your desk, so on and so forth. Though this is challenging, there's been a lot of difficulty that I've experienced over these last 8 months through different professional relationships and trying to work as a team to improve the environment, to kind of enhance fulfilling certain needs and assessing what does work, what doesn't work, and coming together. And unfortunately, it's that collaboration part kind of disintegrated and didn't really come into fruition as one would hope. And considering the line of work that I do and experience with my students and some of the friction amongst other colleagues as well as administration, it's been a very hard year in trying to navigate through our classroom and what we are trying to accomplish, and it has been very difficult. And through this semester, in learning about mentoring, executive coaching, and self-mentoring, I very much identified with what I was reading about in self-mentoring, about finding yourself in an unknown territory and realizing that essentially to change my situation, I'm the only one that is capable of doing that. And that was through collaborating with another student in this class, where when her and I sat down to kind of discuss what field plans we might be thinking about putting together, through just having an open conversation and being completely honest about all of my current experiences, we were discussing that I do have a lot of emotional stressors I encounter each day. And that is true. At the end of my day, I am maxed out on energy. Depending upon the day, I might be low on my patience. I might just feel completely exhausted, or there are days, the emotions can range, being that it's probably a result of what I'm experiencing each day. And each day is different. Not every day is the same. Every day is different, and that's okay. I am adaptable, which I've also very much learned. But part of the field plan, what I have decided to do to begin implementing this practice of self-mentoring and applying it to my real current situation, I decided that I would begin journaling every day for the first 2 weeks of the field plan after school. And that is immediately after dismissal, and I finish my duties that I am responsible for. I come back to my desk, I take about 10 to 15 minutes of quiet time, and I set a timer, and I started to journal. And I have been journaling every day after school about how I'm feeling, what transpired throughout my day, how I felt throughout my day. Was there anything in particular that I need to write down that I'm feeling or sensed or learned that day? And right now, I've only completed the first week, and I will only be able to do one more week I'll be able to do 3 weeks in the fields. And then my school, we will enter into our spring break as we're year round. But I would like, of the first 2 weeks of the journaling process, week 3, I will be kind of examining everything. But so far with week 1, it has been an enlightening experience thus far. First, it gives me space to kind of sit down and get out all of what happened in my day, which actually is starting to show to me that that's a bit of a stress reliever in and of itself. But what it's also helping to do in this short amount of time, and there will be another full week of journaling to transpire, I'm starting to discover certain things within my environment on which I can control and which I cannot. And I know more of that will come out as I continue journaling through this week and a little into next week as well, as to what other stressors I'm experiencing or what trends I am finding. And that's essentially what this whole journaling process to do. This is my exploration into becoming more self-aware. I have been growing in self-awareness since about the end of November, but I feel like at this point, this is going to be a lot more effective in highlighting those aspects, and it's really going to give me an eye to see what other underlying factors are happening that I haven't been able to pick up on because I haven't really been tracking. So, excitingly so, this first week of practicing self-mentoring in my field has been a little bit of a humbling experience, but I'm excited to continue and to move in it because I'm already noticing positive progress in the fact that I feel a little bit more at ease sometimes, I'm able to ease myself in certain situations and not become so high stress because I've already have pointed out to myself that this is something that stresses me, but there's nothing I can do about it. So, funny enough, that creates peace. I am looking forward to having another week of collecting data for myself, and then I am really looking forward to assessing that and picking out trends and themes and other little things I may find in my writings that will really prompt self-discovery, and I'll be moving into that next stage. So looking forward to what's to come.